Oh, I see that. Smack them around, tell them not to go. Oh, there you go. I'm a little ADHD, there's no notice. I didn't, yeah. This is a better chair. This has a power seat. I've already got anyone this one. What a magic. This is a pretty good seat. How you doing?
Good, how about you?
I like the way your glasses look. That's fine.
Yeah, I haven't lost them in 2 years, so that's a record.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine fall off my head because I put them on top. That doesn't work either. You get a bigger head of smaller glasses. I didn't know I would be called actually. Well, these are just half of my clothes for the kids. They're so little. This is really nice. Were you measured for that? Huh? Were you measured for? No, Dennis found it online. It has different levels. You can put it down lower or up higher. Put it all the way. So my feet just reach. But the thing, we don't have to tell them why. No, my car seat goes way, way down. Actually, when I used to have a Chevy Malibu, the gas pedal had an electronic thing. Because that, my seat was I used to drive you on TV.
On meeting to order at 6 p.m. Please rise as you are able and join us in pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Treasurer's warrant, payroll warrants, February 23rd, 2024, and March 1st, 2024. Motion.
I move to approve payroll warrants for February 23 and March 1, 2024. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion?
Someone's gonna vote.
All those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Accounts payable warrants for February 27th, 2024, and March 5th, 2024. Open for motion.
Move to approve accounts payable warrants for February 27 and March 5, 2024. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Approval of minutes, February 20th, 2024.
Move to approve minutes from February 20, 2024. And I have a question. Somebody seconded.
Been moved and seconded. Yes.
And I know the answer to this question, but I need to say this in meeting. I got a call from a constituent who wondered why none of the chief's comments were reflected in the minutes.
So in general, as we've noted before, it is not our practice to put every single public comment, and in this case, that's what it was. It's part of the public comment of that section. We decided as a board in general practice, that the secretary takes the notes, and that's what it is.
Yeah, legally, the only thing needed in minutes is who attended, people that are on the board, who made the motion, and what the count of the vote was. You don't even have to put in a second, just who made the motion.
It needs to be said every once in a while because your minutes are so good. Everybody expects them to include everything.
We want the encyclopedia.
Yeah. Thanks, Jackie.
And a reminder that all our meetings are recorded and on YouTube, so if people wanna see literally every word.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or discussion on minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. We do not have any special presentations or awards. Committee appointments, ad hoc economic development advisory committee, open for a motion.
This was exciting.
Move to appoint Kim Dolce, Frederick Quimby, Alyssa Eason, Evan Gudkowski, Richard Maldy, Sherry Dunbar, and Patricia Cludier to the ad hoc economic development advisory committee.
Second.
And moved and seconded, any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Public hearing, special amusement permit for Jody's Cafe and Bakery located at 45 Water Street. Open for motion to open the public hearing.
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? We are open at 6:04 PM. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to the special amusement permit? Anyone online? Going once? Going twice?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. We are closed at 6:04 PM. Open for motion on the permit.
Move to approve special amusement permit for Jody's Cafe and Bakery located at 45 Water Street.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. All right, public comment. Is there anyone who would like to speak during public comment on something not on the agenda? Please come forward and state your name.
Hello,
Hello.
Kim Dolce. First of all, if you have happened to see the letters to the editor in the Wiscasset paper, my intention was to speak to you all first, that I either got my timing wrong on their deadlines or it was a slow news day and they decided to put it up there. But regardless, if you'll allow me my 5 minutes. I am here yet again to remind you that the Future of the Schools Committee met for the first time in December 2021, tasked by voters to report on all options for expansion, consolidation, or continuing the status quo of our schools. All options. In the 26 months since that first meeting, they've produced a single incomplete report that included questionable data and made assertions without showing their work. Remember taking math tests in school? You had 1 class period to complete the test, and the teacher always said, if you don't show your work, you don't get credit. I was a teacher. If a student of mine had turned in work like that, I would be speaking to them after class to discuss their poor performance. This is the 4th time I've brought this issue to your attention, and I promise you, if the work that was approved by a town-wide vote is not completed, it will not be the last. The incomplete report presented last August looked at the cost to tuition out high school students. The committee used the full 9th through 12th grade enrollment in their calculations. However, it's my understanding that we would only have to pay the tuition for Wiscasset residents. Last year, the newspaper listed 25 graduating seniors from Wiscasset, but noted that only 15 of them were Wiscasset residents. If that ratio of residents to non-residents held across the 4 grades, that would reduce the committee's calculated tuition cost by over $750,000, which is not an insignificant amount of money. The committee also claimed that pre-K through 8 could not be housed in one school, but provided no documentation to back this up. In November, I provided you with data from Maine School District 75 that listed class size regulations by grade level. Using those guidelines and our current enrollment, it would appear there is ample room to house our elementary and middle school in one building. This committee was formed to evaluate all sensible options to provide our students with the best possible education and to explore potential cost savings. In the past 10 years, Wiscasset committed to a very costly withdrawal from the RSU and eliminated its vocational programs. The school budget is consistently more than 50% of our property taxes. Our students are performing below state averages. Our graduation rate last year was 12 points below the state average, and more of our students are seeking to attend other schools. Before we make any more costly decisions, I am begging you to direct this committee to complete their work in an honest and transparent fashion. If you find that they are unwilling or unable to do so, then appoint a new committee to do what voters directed you to do more than 2 years ago. Thank you.
So I know I don't normally respond. One, I did ask Kim Anderson again about the question of why we couldn't close a building, and her answer was, the high school was designed for 4 grades. We now have 6 grades together. There are guidelines about mixing student ages. The short of it is the building wouldn't fit grades K through 8. You could modify it, I guess, maybe add portables to make it work, but as it is currently, it would not house pre-K through 8, not because of the number of students, but because of the number of grades.
As I said, show your work.
Okay, and I'm telling you that's coming from the superintendent, so I don't know what else you'd like us to do.
Do
on
you
that.
think she might have an agenda? Is that possible? Just throwing it out there. It is my 4th time here.
Yes.
I have been polite all along. I have couched those sorts of comments, but it's time to be honest.
The other point that's important to make is, though it sounds like interesting timing, I'll show you the emails if you'd like to see them. I have been trying to put together an education workshop that is a joint thing for the Future of the Schools Committee and the Comprehensive Plan Committee as a public workshop on education to get feedback from the public in the hopes that it will both help inform the comp plan and help the Future of the Schools Committee write their second report that you've asked for.
But am I wrong? And I don't know, because I'm not on the school board, I'm not on that committee. Am I wrong that we would only pay for the tuition for Wiscasset
I believe
residents?
that is correct. That's a
So-
question I haven't asked.
That was in their report. A $750,000 error in that report, and no one said boo.
Yeah.
It might not be that, because when a student, signs up for it, when a family signs up for it, then the money is allocated to that school district. So I would question that and know that, and all of us that were on the committee really worked pretty hard at it. I had a broken ankle and didn't get to go through the school. The committee went through the school, looked at, the different rooms and made an assessment based on what they saw, what they found, after they looked at.
I will point you back to the very first news article in December of 2021 that was published in the Wiscasset paper the day after the very first meeting of this committee. And in that article, which I have mentioned here before, not one person on the committee thought that it would be possible at all to close a school. They started on day 1 with a preconceived notion, and that's what they presented. I am just suggesting it, and I'm willing to admit that my $750,000, of course it could be off, because I don't know if that ratio is the same in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. But I do know for a fact that you should not be calculating the entire population of 9 through 12, because they aren't all Wiscasset residents.
Okay, and we'll look at that because there's also the point that it's much more expensive for special ed students or students with accomplishments.
Absolutely,
So it is not a $750,000 error.
absolutely.
I will find out that answer for you, and I'm hoping that this workshop will give a lot of light to the second report and help put together.
Is there a second report?
There's going to be, that's the point. We needed to do a public workshop. We can't just write this on our own.
Okay, and do you have a date for that workshop yet?
No, I'm working with Lincoln County
Okay.
Regional Planning because there will be a facilitator for it.
Okay, I appreciate that, I really do. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment on anything not on the agenda? Anyone online? Okay. We do not have any department head or committee chair. Unfinished business, Walmart block update. The one sent to Dennis this morning, says the work at Walnut Block continues to progress. The primary masonry work to rebuild the front elevation of the building is scheduled to begin 3/12/2024. I will continue to keep you updated. That's Sandy Way, their spokesperson.
So that's why all the bricks have not been touched.
Guess so.
Okay.
All right, new business, Lincoln County 2024 approved budget.
Is there information on
Any questions?
that?
It is.
You already went by. You already did the capital.
Yep. Okay, 10B Lincoln County ARPA spending report. Any questions?
Is what it is.
It's beautiful.
Okay, 10C Main Service Centers Coalition dues renewal / appointment of voting delegates.
We're looking for a nomination for, the delegate for permission to spend $500.
Yep.
All of the above?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So is it gonna be, you're still willing to do that, Dennis?
Sure.
Yeah, and your delegate would be,
Anybody who wants to help. I mean, I'm willing to be the, representative if somebody would step up just to be an alternative.
Have they been helpful to us? Have they been helpful?
Yes, they actually have, not specifically to Wiscasset, but to service centers in general, yes. They send me regular updates all the time. They helped us with the cable franchise, bill that was gonna cost us $55,000 a year in revenue, which they managed to hold on to, so. Yes, they work on our behalf up there. I think this is actually money well spent.
so what's the, what are the duties of the delegate? And what are the duties of the representative so the delegate can take them over?
This is just voting for a president, attending meetings. They haven't done it for a while, so.
Okay, I'll be the alternative if you want. Okay. All right,
So what do you need for a motion?
I need for you to, identify me as a representative and Pam as the alternative.
and it's been, well, that's already in the budget.
It's in the budget, so.
Okay. All right,
I move to make Dennis the delegate and Pam the alternate delegate for the MSCC.
And to spend $500 dues.
It's already in the budget.
That's all.
so I'll second.
Moved and seconded, any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Wisconsin Municipal Airport 2024 minimum standards.
I see Stephen Erb here, so I think they can probably answer your questions and explain this a whole lot better than I can.
Good. My name's Stephen Williams. I'm the chair of the airport committee. What you have in front of you is a setting standards for commercial and non-commercial operators at the airport. Example of a commercial operator would be a aviation maintenance facility. An example of a non-commercial would be like a flying club. The flying club exists out at the airport right now. Any specific questions that you might have? Irv could probably, or Deb could probably do a better job of seeing how other airports are utilizing this throughout the nation. Do you have any particular questions on that?
So, what did you base these standards on? Did you look at other airports and see what they were doing and build this set of standards from?
Yeah, exactly. Hi,
examples?
Irvin Deck. I'm a citizen resident of Wisconsin on the airport committee. First of all, the idea of this was to try to make sure the town complies with FAA grant assurances. When the town accepts the grant money, like for the runway project last year, they agreed to a whole slew of assurances. One of them is that we would make sure that the airport is run in a fair and equitable way, and also there's no discrimination against. So the idea was to come up with this document to lay out those standards. It is a compilation of other airports in the region and the area that have done something very similar. And it also, the FAA's got some guidelines that we follow those guidelines in putting this
So,
together.
and then a second question to follow that up, have you reached out to, non-airport committee members, to the airport users and talked to them about these standards and come to some kind of, that they have some kind of understanding of them before putting them forward?
We did not, because this really doesn't apply to the current airport users. It's in case a new business wants to come in,
Okay,
that we set these standards so that they understand what they're supposed to do and can and cannot do on the
Okay.
airport.
so, but there's nothing in there that's applicable to current users?
No. Flying Club, yes, but they already comply with these standards.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, thank you.
And just a little background, about 5 years ago, we put together a set of rules and regulations for the airport. That was distributed to the users, and this body approved it about 3 years ago. So we've been operating those standards as well. So.
Could you tell us what your real job is?
My real job is the one that pays me.
Yeah.
I'm a senior aviation consultant with Stantec Consulting Services. I've been with them for 24 years. And it'll be my last day on December 27th. I'm retiring this year. So
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
And you were the airport manager for how long?
I was the airport manager for about 8 years. Yeah, I went part-time with Stantec and I took on the job as the manager for 8 years. And so, yeah, so I've been on the committee since
At least 11 years.
at least 11, 12 years. So probably since I retired from the Navy, 96. So long time.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Open for a motion.
I need to adopt the 2024 Wiscasset Municipal Airport minimum standards.
Been moved and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Resignation of Ronald Lehman for the Waterfront Committee. Open for a motion.
I move to accept with regret the resignation of Ronald Lehman Waterfront Committee. And I also accept with thanks for his many years of service. We're going to lose some institutional memory with the exception of Susan Robson. She's been on since the beginning, or since for 20 years. But Ron has served well, has served well.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
That was too long.
Just the first sentence of the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Assessor's business, tax abatement for Frank Allen Jr. /R02-010-C-ON in the amount of $4.82 for the tax year of 2022.
Move to approve the tax abatement for Frank Allen Jr. on, map lot rent R02010C. ON in the amount of $482 for tax year 2022. That's how would the ON is.
You're gonna ask, I know, and I just looked this up and I've already forgotten that.
I'm gonna look it up when I get home.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
That question was asked in the previous meeting too.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Town manager's report.
Just briefly, I met with the, several members of the budget committee yesterday. They expressed some concerns on a couple of budgets, so I'm going through them and see if I can address some of those concerns. If I can, I'll bring something forward to the meeting tomorrow night. I did get an email from Senator Collins' office on Monday, the $5 million that she had put in her budget for congressionally directed spending. We were seeking for the wastewater treatment plant, did survive budget negotiations in Congress this past weekend. The House, I think, is scheduled to vote tomorrow, followed by the Senate. Once that budget is passed and signed by the president, we will have that $5 million. It'll get assigned to whatever agency it's coming from, and we'll go through whatever their funding process is. I know if it was anything like FEMA, it took several months to actually get it done, but at least it survived. I was a little concerned that with the lack of progress being made in Congress on stuff that we weren't going to get it, but it looks like that's gonna happen. So that's the first drop in the bucket towards the much bigger picture that we are working on. And I did meet with Oliver on Monday to do some scoping for a location, which is the first thing we've got to figure out is where we're gonna put it, so we can figure out how much it's gonna cost to do it. And I think that's gonna be a challenge, because we need to stay fairly close to the river, we need to stay fairly close to the major part of the collection system, which is most of this area, and I don't know that a lot of people are gonna wanna see a wastewater treatment plant in their backyard, so they have been concentrating just on town-owned property. I said I think we need to be looking at maybe acquiring something outside of town-owned property that might be a little more palatable, so. That was my question. So we're expanding the view of where we look for things.
Yeah, so I just have to say that anything they put in is gonna look better than what's going out. So I really don't see how people can complain too much about it.
Well, but right now it doesn't really, it's not anybody's neighbor so much as it could be if we had to be located in the village. I mean, I think wherever you go,
Nobody's gonna
want it next to them, and, you know, that's just part of the course, but, you know, we'll try to find the best piece of property we can, but it has to be suitable for what we're doing as well. You know, we can't just say we're gonna put it here because people don't, you know, because we can't see it, it may not work, so. You know, work is progressing on that, it's slow, it's gonna take time. You know, this is a several years long process, and we'll get there, but, you know, we are working on it to get it done. Ted and his crew were down every day, showing up the burrito.
Oh, my gosh.
Because we do have another very high tide coming in. And we just want to make sure that we're in good shape, and we are, so I'm not overly concerned about it, but we are keeping a close eye on it.
I just have, we did look at one plant in Oxford, and
I remember.
I think I showed you the pictures, you can put it anywhere, it doesn't look like it's a sewer plant, it doesn't look anything like this, it's just a building.
It's just a building.
There's no chemicals in this one.
Yeah, everything was enclosed within the building, there's no exterior tanks.
No smell, no nothing.
So,
I mean, that sounds like the way to go, even if it's a little bit more, you're gonna find a little bit, and if it's just a building, I don't see why it can't go right where we were discussing before. It's not like it's gonna be one of those giant round,
Well, it doesn't have to be.
yeah.
One of the things that works, it's a gravity-fed system, which cuts down on some expenses, but you've got to dig down, so some of the places like where the public works is, we don't know if there's ledge underneath there.
It's Lincoln County, there's ledge everywhere. It's a granite state for a reason.
Actually, that's New Hampshire.
I know. Up at the library, even as high as that is, when they were putting in the new water lines and stuff, it was all doing their jackhammering the whole road, the whole length.
When I was a kid, we had a room onto our house, and my job was after school to go down in the basement. But the ledge came within 11 inches of the floor. Over the years, I got it down to 2 feet.
Anything else? Any other board business?
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All those in favor? You're adjourned at 6:28.